Welcome to Dearborn Backstage, the podcast series where we go behind the scenes to talk with designers, engineers, and other experts to get an insider's take on the latest Ford vehicles and technologies.
The idea is to provide you with the information that you can share with customers, especially the kind of stories and personal insights you won't hear anywhere else.
That's Mike Kalasa.
And that is Kim Freeman.
Hello, everyone. We're coming to you from our retailer education and training studios here in Dearborn, Michigan. In this podcast, we continue our conversation about the recently announced all-electric Mustang Mach-E with Jason Castriota, Global Brand Director of Battery Electric Vehicles.
Again, Jason, thanks for joining us. So let me start by asking, what kind of customer will this all-new, first of its kind, Mustang appeal to?
So, as you can imagine, we'd been kicking around ideas for an electrified vehicle for a while, and to be perfectly frank, a lot of it was driven by the fact that, we also have to balance our portfolio of vehicles and sell vehicles that get better gas mileage versus some of our vehicles that don't.
Right.
That being said, when we looked in the marketplace and saw the vehicles that were there, what we call a compliance vehicle, really just to comply to the CAFE laws,
Right.
They're not compelling vehicles, right? They were kind of small, some of them very quirky in their design language, didn't have a lot of range, certainly didn't have a lot of performance,
You
and
can
they were
see
still,
why people
and they were
think
still
they're
kind of
slow.
expensive.
Yeah.
A little bit not our speed, right?
Yeah.
No pun intended. So with that, we said, maybe we're approaching this the wrong way because, the mindset was, well, if someone wants an electrified vehicle, it's because they're green and because they want to be efficient and because they, care about the planet and it's about sustainability.
Which is good.
And that's all good.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately we all want that, but we don't generally all think that first when we go to buy a vehicle.
Right.
There's a very id quality of purchasing
We
a
don't want it
vehicle,
to limit
right?
our choices, right?
No, definitely not. And frankly, vehicle is something that really defines people. Vehicle is the most expensive, if not the second most expensive thing people buy.
Right.
It's their home and their car, right, at the end of the day. And when you buy a vehicle, and, depending on the brand and nameplate you drive, it's a superhero costume. Right, you're kind of putting on this vehicle.
that.
So when you drive a Mustang, you instantly
Yeah.
feel
an
cooler,
attitude.
badder, a little bit more rebellious, a little bit more like, hey man,
feeling it.
You're feeling it. Whereas if you drive an Explorer, you're kind of out for adventure, and you feel like you can tackle anything. There's different reasons why we buy things.
Sure.
And those motivations, we said, maybe there's something here we're missing. So let's go back to how we cut data and look at customers. And when we market test with customers and bring in customers of all walks of life, we do events where it's very specific to, okay, they drive this type of vehicle, they're intending to buy this kind of vehicle, they have a certain household income, education, et cetera.
Sure.
We said, all right, let's go back to this and let's pull out all the questions around being green in our questionnaire.
Okay.
Let's just get rid of that. Let's take the green off the table and let's talk about what tech is doing in the world. Because this is really about forwarding technology and democratizing technology. So Hackett, again, challenged us to find different kinds of proxies. And what we did is we said, okay, well, when you look at Apple, Google, Amazon, Uber, others, what have they really done? They've kind of created this systemic elegance where they offer you this amazing design, amazing quality, amazing experience, amazing services, all rolled in together. And again, it's either removing friction from your life because it's making your life easier, or it's amplifying something you really like.
Right.
And giving you a better experience. So that became the key. And when you look at what Uber's done, for instance, once upon a time, only very wealthy people would take a black car service. Now everybody can take a black car.
Right.
Freshly, Blue Apron, we couldn't have a private chef, right? Unless you were a 1%er or a 0.1%er. Now everybody can have this amazing meals delivered to their home. Stitch Fix, the list goes on and on and on.
Right.
Think about Peloton, what it's done to exercise bikes. Think about what, video gaming communities have done with AR and VR. So there's all these experiences that tech is enabling. And ultimately it was about, empowerment and freedom and progression. And we said, that's a Ford customer. So when we stripped all that stuff away and we focused on how tech improves people's lives and were they tech savvy and did they like to try new tech and were they into experiences, were they willing to take a little risk, how did they kind of approach things, this customer just popped out all across the globe. And that was, this was a global program which made it
Right.
even that much more challenging. This vehicle had to sell not just here, also in Europe and also in China. And as you can imagine, taste can vary from region to region. It's very rare that a product can do so well in all regions when it's not specifically tailored. But we found this person across the globe, and on average, the really shocking thing was it was 10 years younger than our average Ford customer, higher household income, more kids in the household, desired an SUV, loved design, was like off the charts with wanting beautiful design, and was 4 to 5 times more likely to consider a BEV, a battery electric vehicle. And we said, wow, wait, we didn't know this person existed, but they exist in our own portfolio. These customers, we already have them. So when we found that customer, we said, that's who we need to shoot for. And then we did the reality check. We said, okay, well, how does this customer match up to the Mustang customer? And when we looked at their attitudinal beliefs and mindsets, they were actually almost identical. So they both love to challenge convention. They both loved beautiful design, and they both loved the freedom that power gives them. So with that, that's what gave us the initial confidence to say, we need to explore what Mustang could mean here and how we can, again, begin to build the Mustang brand, bring more people into the family, more people into the stable, so to speak, and also future-proof the Mustang brand. Because ultimately, we know that gas is still the way to go today, but 20, 30, or 40 years from now, maybe it won't be. Maybe we will all have to be electric or hydrogen or some kind of hybrid version of gas and electric together. We don't know that. And we certainly don't want to lose the Mustang. This is one of the most iconic products in the world. 55 years, over 10 million vehicles on the road. I think the largest active fan club in the world. So, really an amazing, iconic product that has to keep going. And expanding the family was really key to that.
All right. So our sales consultants have quite a bit of experience selling a Mustang, and now there's a new family member. So what guidance would you give a sales consultant? How do they talk to a customer who might be interested in the Mustang Mach-E versus the Mustang? How do you start that conversation? What advice would you give them?
Boy, that's tough. They're two really unique flavors. Again, the same DNA. So the Mach-E is going to offer, a few things, obviously, that today's Mustang cannot. Number one, it's really the space and flexibility, right, that you can't have in a Mustang. And we know, actually, from our data of people, when they migrate out of Mustang, it's most likely because it no longer fit their lifestyle, i.e. their kids are no longer small, or they've just said, I need a bigger vehicle, or they live in the Northeast or up here and they say, I really just can't have a rear-wheel drive Mustang for everything. So it enables to claw back people that maybe moved away from Mustang. It also enables Mustang owners who we also know tend to have other vehicles in their garage to now always have a Mustang experience. And then, of course, we expect a whole new flock of customers to come in as well, because this is a product that when people see it, they're going to be just blown away by it. It's beautiful, it's efficient, it's fast, it's got this amazing hassle-free experience.
Thanks, Jason. That's all the time we have for in this podcast, but there's a lot more to discover. Be sure to check out our other Mach-E podcasts and head on over to 4dsourcebook.com for all the latest product details.
And remember, for those who just can't wait to be among the first to get their very own Mustang Mach-E, the reservation site is live and open right now. Just go to Ford.com to sign up.
Finally, we'd really like to hear from you. So please take a moment to tell us what you think about this podcast by giving us a star rating and leaving a comment on FordTube, including any suggestions you might have for future podcasts.
For Kim Freeman and myself,
Mike Kalasa.
We thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye until next time.